Gartner, IBM, a number of studies have shown that over 80% of breaches last year were actually caused by insiders.
Hi, everyone. This is Natalie Nathanson, CEO and founder of Magnitude Consulting and host of the Shift and Thrive podcast. We are doing a special episode as part of a cybersecurity mini-series to prepare for the RSA conference later this month. Joining me today is Elizabeth Harz, CEO of Veriato, a global leader in insider risk management and user activity monitoring. Elizabeth brings extensive expertise in cybersecurity, particularly leveraging human behavior analytics to proactively protect organizations from insider threats and enhance workforce productivity. Elizabeth, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Natalie. Thanks for having me.
It is so great to have you. And I would love to start by asking you a bit about the biggest cybersecurity challenges that your customers are facing right now.
Absolutely. We hear time and time again, whether it's a proactive decision or a reactive decision after something has transpired, that insider risk is a very significant issue for our customers. I think they've spent a lot of time over the last several years kind of locking the doors and windows, and are recognizing that often the threat is inside the house. As I'm sure Gartner, IBM, a number of studies have shown that over 80% of breaches last year were actually caused by insiders, often accidental, really the minority that are intentional or malicious. And so there's just a lot of work to do to understand insider risk and get ahead of it.
Yeah, I think that's spot on. And I think the key point that you mentioned is a lot of it is accidental. So it's really kind of a missing area that companies have in their security posture. I'm curious, are there any examples that come to mind to help kind of bring it to life to the audience?
Oh, there's so many. And again, often really accidental, employees just trying to do their job faster or better, kind of cutting and pasting out of a secure platform into an, insecure environment, PHI or PII, incidents where users are sharing credentials over external messaging platforms, really all in the name of getting something done faster or accomplishing something as a team. But in reality, those actions can really create tremendous risk.
Yeah. But I think as we think about employees in today's environment, everyone is under increased pressure to do more, work faster. There's so many different communication channels. So I think that's just underscores why it's so important to be addressing this.
Yeah, and remote. I mean, COVID obviously just accelerated a developing trend anyway for more flexibility in the corporate setting. And there's certainly a lot of return to work, but there's also still a lot of hybrid examples, even if it's only one day a week. There's a lot of companies that are fully remote. And those are instances, again, where employees are just trying to enjoy their home office setup. And so they have their work computer and then they have their home computer right next to it, and they're working on them interchangeably, when in reality, the security posture of their, work laptop is much better than their home. And yet they aren't really seeing the distinction between those two. So I think these are just issues that will continue to be top of mind for executives and security professionals.
Yeah, completely agree. And can you talk a little bit about how Veriato helps to address these challenges?
Absolutely. So Veriato actually created this sector 25 years ago, and since then has just been continuing to innovate to really help monitor all activities that are happening and provide proactive view through into what's going on in the workforce and really present the human element of cyber to executives and security professionals. There's the device watch, right? The devices when thumb drives are involved, like the hardware and network activity view of cyber. But what we are focused on is the human element, what actual individual users are doing, even if it's across three devices, a tablet, a laptop, a desktop, tying all that activity together to one user and creating understanding of different job titles, of departments, and helping organizations really through easy to digest alerts, easy to digest graphical representations of the data. Where is everything kind of green? Where do I have some concerns, and where is there, real problems that need to be dug into? So we monitor what's going on, we digest that, and then we present it back in a way that allows our customers to understand what's going on and really be proactive instead of reactive about what's going on in their organization.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And Elizabeth, if I could maybe put you on the spot for a moment and say, if you had 60 seconds in an elevator with your ideal customer or executive at RSA to talk to them about what you do, what would you say?
Yeah, I would say insider risk management is critical in our current reality. And Veriato has 25 years of history, really created the category, and is now continuing to reinvent the sector to help executives and organizations understand what's going on in their workforce and stay ahead of threats.
Very well said. Thank you. I want to talk a little bit about your go-to-market. And I know in cybersecurity in general, we're operating in a very crowded and competitive space. Can you talk a bit about how you approach your go-to-market strategy?
Yes, absolutely. And of course, we do this in partnership with Magnitude, which we are very thankful for. The team has a tremendous amount of experience in cyber, and I think they think very similarly to us, which is to be very cognizant that there are multiple decision makers involved in the purchase of cybersecurity solutions, and specifically insider risk management. There are security folks, there are often HR folks, there are general managers and business leaders in departments. There's also the executive team. And so, thinking about those different functions and making sure that we're helping those different departments and different individuals understand and simplify this category, simplify our offerings, and also help provide those stakeholders with the information and data they need to support their recommendations. Sometimes, user activity monitoring or insider risk management can almost be like insurance, right? It's like investing in something to avoid something. And so helping to explain and understand that is very important. Additionally, we do think very vertically focused, and Magnitude is a great partner on that front as well, because recognizing the applications here in healthcare are different than those in finance, and making sure that we can convey the benefits of our solutions for those verticals and help our customers and prospects just like make use of this faster.
Yeah, I think that's so spot on. And first off, thank you for the compliments about Magnitude. It's really tremendous to work with an organization like yours, and especially where there's such a good understanding of that importance of educating the market and putting that thought leadership out there, not only for your own visibility, but because the market actually does need that education in this category to have more awareness and understanding of it. And you taking the time to bring your expertise to bear. And as you said, all these different roles involved in an organization that each have different needs, different understandings of the security space, because they are not all security practitioners. I think that's really, contributed to your success as an organization?
Yeah, I think the thought leadership piece is very important. Executives today have data on so many fronts, and their workforce is arguably the most important asset they have. And, not having data on workforce productivity and workforce trends, workforce security is just, a big hole. But many of the CEOs that I talk to or executives in different companies, of course, less so on the security side, but just, CEOs or general managers. And we talk about what Veriato does. It's almost like they just never really thought about that component of their operating. And it's just, quite interesting.
Yeah. And so what do you say to those CEOs that maybe, aren't aware of the challenges that their organization faces here? What kind of advice do you share?
Yeah, I just really talk to them about, think about over the last 20 years, the kinds of tools and data that they have been able to access and use to make better decisions about their businesses, whether those are financial management systems or MarTech stacks, and really talk about how Veriato and user activity monitoring, insider risk management is providing that kind of visibility and protection for their organization that is essential, right? And that their responsibility in their seats is, of course, to do whatever they can to have as productive and successful as an organization possible, as well as really protect their staff, protect their customers' data, ultimately their shareholders' investment, right? And so having this tool to really know what's going on in their business, especially with the remote and hybrid dynamics, it's really a must invest in, whether it's with me or not. Just really encourage CEOs to educate themselves about this and make sure, on top of all those other systems and all that other data they have about their inventory or their marketing ROI, that they also understand the people piece of the employee side as well.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that. I think that's critical and very well said. So I think that's a great place for us to wrap. Thank you so much for sharing all these insights with us today.
Natalie, thank you for your time. See you at RSA.
See you there. And to our listeners, if you found this valuable and learned something new, and I'm sure everybody did, please share this with a colleague who's headed to RSA and who's passionate about cybersecurity. And please subscribe so you don't miss the rest of our episodes in this series. This is Natalie Nathanson signing off. See you all next time.